So, welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Great Bears of Westeros. This is the 12th episode, and we have a great guest on this. First of all, I'm going to introduce my fellow members of the panel. We have Jakob Hultman.
Hello.
Hey.
I am excellent. It's late summer here in Sweden. Beards have been out on all the people all through summer. You got the nicely tanned beards. You've got the ones that stayed inside the whole summer. Now they're lurking out, coming out of the darkness, and yeah, it's a fun time to be alive in Sweden.
Awesome. Andreas, Buzz, how are you?
I'm a little bit grumpy. You guys took me away from my movie. 10 minutes left of Batman versus Superman here, so let's wrap this up quickly.
We spared you.
We spared you.
No, it's great actually. It's great.
We pull you out of your misery. That's the truth.
All right.
Okay. And without further ado, we move on to introduce this week's excellent guest. Welcome, Evan.
Hey, good to see you guys.
Great to see you. So, Evan, work for a company that's somewhat related to this game that we all love to play.
It is somewhat related.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I work for, technically it's Asmodee North America. We do the marketing then for Asmodee and Fantasy Flight Games and all of that. And in particular, I'm a marketing writer. So I write a lot of the articles that you see going up on the FFG website and all over like that. And in particular, I do all of the marketing for Game of Thrones, the card game.
Nice. So we have you to thank for all the nice preview articles that come up.
Yep, all the articles and the spoilers and ads if you guys go searching for those ads in various corners of the internet.
Oh, that's great. So how long have you been with Asmodee or I guess for Fantasy Flight Games?
Right. It was originally Fantasy Flight when I started working there, and I've been there for I think just over like 3.5 years now.
All right. How is the beard culture in a company like Fantasy Flight Games?
Beard culture is overall, I would say, lacking, as is the case in most of America. Unfortunately, it's these are dire times.
Yeah.
However, there are several very strong specimens here. Who there are several people who have much better beards than I could ever grow. In fact, I'm sure you can see the shameful nakedness on my cheeks there, which is yes, unfortunate.
Yep. You have a well-shaped and well-groomed beard, and that's that counts for a lot, I would say.
My wife would say so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Usually they have some kind of say in if you're allowed to and what kind of beard you're allowed to grow. So
yeah, yep.
Well, it's great to have you on, and you're working with you write a lot of the marketing for the Game of Thrones game. Do you play the game as well?
I play the game voraciously, pretty much every chance I get. I'm gonna play it about an hour after I get done with you guys here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they do a ton of tournaments over at the game center, which is obviously very close to me. So I play in a lot of those. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to play in anything above store championship level as far as official organized play goes. That's probably the worst thing about working here.
But you have a pretty big community there, and you have some community-run tournaments as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The Thrones meta here is really good. The guys who run a lot of the events, they make a lot of custom swag, and it's very, very cool.
Great to hear. Do you have a particular faction that is your favorite?
Well, I would say my
Okay, yeah.
Well, my heart always belongs to Martell. They have always been my ladies, pretty much. So, the guys you can pretty much take or leave.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm a big Lannister fan as well. Probably Martell and Lannister and Greyjoy are my top factions.
That's great to hear. I'm a Greyjoy player at heart. I introduced my wife to the game after when the second edition came out, and she instantly fell in love with Greyjoys. Now we share the card pool, so I never play Greyjoy anymore. So it's really tough time to be alive. I found some solace in playing Stark lately, but now with a lot of new cards coming out, you can do some pretty fun combo things. So which was one of the things that I really loved with the first edition was you could do some really weird things, and I love that part of the game sort of coming back a little bit more now.
I was just reading about the 5-card combo that they came up with Jane Westerlane. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
I love that. Like it splits the community in half. Because half of the people, like everyone gets it, but half of them it just like, oh, this is fun. I love this. This is so good. And half of it is like, I don't know why. I don't know why you people waste your time making up these combos.
Yeah, I love those combos personally, though I would never actually put them in a deck.
Great fun.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna move on in the show. We're gonna go to the I don't know, Buzz. Have you ever heard our intro music? Nope.
I asked for it last time and you never linked it, so I don't know.
I think we're gonna have to keep it that way. Basically, keep it a secret. It's been 12 episodes and you haven't heard the intro music. I think now we're sort of past the date when it's
Neither is anyone who's only watching the video, by the way. So.
Oh, because you never added it in the post.
Yeah, I can't add it. I've never heard it. So.
That's amazing. I never realized that. That looks so stupid. Because we just fool around. Yeah. Every time we cut up the part for the audio version.
No, I don't cut anything.
You don't cut anything?
No.
Just post it.
Yeah.
Just the raw edit. Nothing. Don't do anything with it.
So, silly things. And I am apologizing to everyone watching the video for the absolutely terribly silly things that we do.
Well, that's kind of part of it now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so actually, here's the intro music. Now is the part where Jakob does. Well, we're pretending that the intro music is playing. It's weird because we don't really have to wait. We could move on.
But maybe later, someday, Andreas will actually add the intro music, and it will be fantastic because everyone does the dances.
Yeah, the music or not. Okay. So welcome back. This is episode 12 of Great Bears of Westeros. We have Evan Johnson, who is a marketing writer for Fantasy Flight Games and AsmodeeNA in North America, with us today. And Evan, you came up with this topic of the week.
I did.
Do you want to introduce it for us and
absolutely
watch us absolutely slaughter whatever you would intend?
Well,
no, I'm kidding.
so I was just at Gen Con. I don't know if any of you were able to make it out.
Unfortunately not.
No. Okay. So I was just there, and I was able to catch a little bit of the Thrones tournament when I wasn't working. I watched the top 4 in the finals. And so the question that's really on my mind is how do you think the meta is going to change between Gen Con and Worlds? Because that's kind of the big gap here. And then secondly, I don't know if any of you saw, but Chris Shanthal has an amazing beard, which I am confident led him to victory on Gen Con. And so really, we need to look at what is the beard game need to look at going into Worlds.
Fantastic questions. So the first one, obviously, there are a lot of new products coming off the shelves before Worlds. We'll see at least one chapter pack in in September, right? One in October. That's probably it. And then we'll have the Lions box, which we'll talk a little bit about later. So that's pretty much it about what's coming out. I think the Lions box is going to change a lot, I think. And not only like because there's a huge amount of cards coming out, it's also widens the amount of decks that Lannister can pull out of their sleeves, I guess. And that's very interesting, especially since a lot of the cards that we've seen spoiled and that people have been talking about seems to be new versions of old cards. And they're taking absolutely different routes than what the core cards were. So, for example, we have a Tywin, which is a 5-coster, I think, instead of like a 7-coster, and he's working off of pillage, and that seems like a totally new route for that character. And I've seen, well, obviously, a lot of people think at first glance this card is terrible compared to the first one, because the first one is so good and brings you gold, and he's just a staple in every Lannister deck. But I think it brings some very neat interactions to a lot of banner decks, and you can finally make this Lanny Kraken deck with all of the pillage in the world. And it's maybe it sounds janky, but I think there's actually something out there. Pulling him down to 5 cost is also very nice. So that's just one part of, I think, of how the meta will turn, possibly in the deck building area, especially with the Lanny box then coming out. It widens the amount of decks, and like we've seen now, there are new decks coming out all the time, even with old cards, like new decks with not so many new cards. There's, I think, still the meta isn't solved. It's a lot of interesting things going on. So
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah,
my
I'm absolutely a fan of that new Tywin as well. Even though as you were saying, like a lot of people have been bashing him compared to the 7-cost version, and admittedly, like everyone knows, 7-cost Tywin is one of the best characters in the game. But I am a huge fan of the new Tywin, and particularly the way that he interacts with Gregor and the Tickler, because those have always been some of my favorite cards. They aren't necessarily skill based, but I love the huge impact that Gregor can have. That the terror in your opponent's eyes when they have to flip that card, and so if you have Tywin out, it's twice the terror, twice the fun.
It's pretty Nedley and fun to think that they're working together as well. It's Tywin, like pointing with the whole hand. Go on, do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lannister, I think, is one of those houses that could that needs to improve their beard game a bit. I think they've been pretty weak in that area. They had obviously one of the most luxurious beards in second edition with Grandmaster Parcell. As a really, we've been praising his beard on this cast. That's how I want to look when I get old. Losing all my hair on the head, but still has that great big full beard that he has. So
like
hopefully we're going to see
falling. It's like everything is falling off of here. Up here,
just,
but it's it's
moved down.
It's moving down.
It just moves down.
Downstairs. So yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be interesting to see that aspect of the meta. I was gonna when Jakob, when you started saying about gonna see these new products before Worlds, I was thinking maybe you were talking about new tonics, new beard oils, and maybe a new
that's maybe
mustache
part
wax.
of the second question, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and I mean we already seen, for example, one of the houses that people have been complaining most about being one of the weaker ones, the Night Watch, is already seeing a lot of traction with the new cards coming out. So it's fun. I like this sort of stage of the game where one new pack still can impact the game and impact one faction in a huge way, and putting them from, obviously a lot of that is sort of in the eye of the beholder. It's a lot of I don't know if you say optics, what people think is good. Some houses maybe have done a lot of flack, maybe unnecessary, because we haven't necessarily known how good they can be. But it's really nice to see how the meta is changing pretty quickly. So it's probably going to change a few times for Worlds.
Yeah.
And also, I think if we're lucky, we're getting the 4th chapter pack just before Worlds. And the 4th chapter pack is a Valor Morgulis is included in that pack, which
Mhm.
all of the first edition players know quite well. And we know that it's probably going to impact the meta more than anything else since the core has been released. A lot of the people will play it. A lot of people will understand that it's not going to be an auto include in all decks, and people will probably know that by the time that Worlds has ended. But hopefully, the pack will come just before, so that we will see some crazy decks and actually be a very, very interesting.
Yeah,
So I'm very excited.
That would be insane if that happened first. Just
Yeah.
throw all of the knowledge of the past few months out the window.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm actually a big fan of Valor coming back. You know, I played first edition a fair amount, and I'm really glad that it's back. I'm also glad that it is, I believe, worse in some ways in its stats than it was in the first edition. You know, 2 gold isn't what it was. And you've got the 5 reserve and all of that. But I think that is really good. That you know, I never liked a meta that was 6 plots plus Valar. You know, I want it to be more considered. Like, is this the reset for you? You want to run this? Do you want to run Wildfire or First Snow, or you know, some combination of these?
All of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reset the game all the time.
And Varys, and you know, get Westeros leads it there. Wrong edition, doesn't matter.
I think that's a very interesting point of choosing your reset, and I think I read this article that James Walmsley, JC Wama, posted on the White Book website just a few hours ago before we recorded this, where he spoke about Varys, and he spoke about this, that he used it in this particular deck with Tyrell and Sun, but that is like Varys is one of the most underplayed things in this game, the first year of the game, that so many people, especially first edition players, they complain about the big guys, the big characters in the game, and how they interact so much, and they make such a big impact as soon as they hit the game. And the saying that the first player that gets the big guys out wins the game, and there's one easy solution to that, and that is to play Varys. And yeah.
Well. You see, if Varys is great against that because he's unpopular, right? If he was popular, people would play around him more. They would have more dupes, more bodyguards, etc. In the early stages of the game, we had a lot of bodyguards, and Varys was falling out of the meta. And now he's really good. I keep him in as many decks as I can because people don't expect him. People don't take for him, right?
That's kind of the beauty of the meta of this game.
Yeah.
Like it's so much, like it's going around all the time. So that's one of the really interesting things about this game.
Yeah.
Another
sorry, Evan.
Well, I was just going to say another thing going into how the meta will change before Worlds is that, you know, the pack that just came out, at least here in the United States, I'm not sure if it's out in Sweden or if your releases are synced up with ours, but
they are.
Okay, good. So it just introduced Kings of Summer and Kings of Winter, and those are 2 of the prevalent themes kind of this whole cycle. And what I'm super interested to see is how those will appear at Worlds, if at all. And then, but I mean, that also ties into the concept of summer and winter beards. And, you know, lots of people only grow their beards in winter. And, you know, will those people have a greater chance with Worlds being in November like it is? You know, it's starting to get cold.
Oh, that's a really, really good question. I like that. Something that we haven't touched upon a lot on this cast. We've talked about summer beards, but that's mostly about decoration. You know, putting flowers in your beard. We had this discussion about that, but that's a great aspect, and it's gonna be, you know, this game is. I mean, we maybe don't see a lot of interaction where you try to well obviously when the plot game is kind of the aspect where you try to figure out what your opponent's going to do, but maybe you do that more in terms of what does the board state look like. But I think you know, coming to a big tournament like Worlds, I wonder if you start like if you come there, come early, start looking around. What is the competition looking like? And you look at these great beards coming into the tournament, and I wonder if you can draw that connection. They're probably playing winter because of the huge beards. So I wonder if we're going to see that. I think it's going to be a natural thing for people who play the Kings of Winter agenda to be more focused on having a good full warming winter beard as well. Sort of, at least the Nedley players want to do that, I think.
Touching about coming early in the for the tournament, I think the greatest contenders are the ones that skipped the summer beer altogether and kept their winter beard from last year, their world's beer from last year, and now are coming in full force again.
Yeah,
those are, I would bet on those guys.
Yeah. Huge advantage, I think.
I wonder if the discussion was spring off into this comparison to, there was this discussion about a particular tournament a couple of months ago where there was this guy who came, registered, and then it was this big tournament and people were chatting as you do before the start of the tournament. And then this guy, before he handed in his deck list, kind of snooped around and checked what is people going to play. And then he switched some cards deck because he was seeing a lot of Lannister or whatever, and he checked for that. Handed in his deck list, he cards, changed his deck list. Do you think this could affect if you go to a tournament like Worlds and then as soon as you enter the doors, you see that, there are so many beards here, or the lack of beards? Could that change your preparation when you sit down and you register for the tournament, and if so, how?
I think it's usually most important to stick with the beard at that point. I mean, I'm all for experimentation in that field, but at that high level of a tournament, you don't want to mess up and shave something off that you shouldn't have, or grow something out that you shouldn't have. It's not good. That's for summer kits or for store championships or something like that. But at Worlds, you got to stick with what you know.
Yeah.
That's especially there. It's rarely easy to grow out something with that short of a notice. I would say like 10-15 minutes. I've heard it happen before, but it's pretty
not on a tournament level. Not a
tournament level. Oh, it's hard. You're not prepared for that.
I think we've all been in the situation where it's a special occasion, maybe a tournament, and we want to make some changes to our beard to change things up, and you do it a little bit too much, and there's no return, and you flop in the tournament because you're so sad. And no, stick to your guns. That's stick to your beard.
You gotta stick to the beard that was promised.
Yes.
Right. So since Buzz isn't taking its responsibility of moving on to the next part of the topic of the week.
Oh, but we had a good discussion. I'm fully on Buzz's side here.
Yeah, I thought you had more to contribute here, but okay, fine.
I can make a nice transition to when we talking about great beards, preparations for good tournaments. Like Evan said, you just came back from Gen Con and you witnessed one of the greatest beard victories of modern times of Thrones. We saw Chris Shanthal take home the joust, which was pretty amazing to see, given his beard is so majestic. First of all, how was that? It was pretty tense, right?
It was pretty tense. The game lasted almost 2 hours. I think it was an hour and 50 minutes. But I mean, I gotta say, Chris's beard was on point that whole time. It is. You've seen his beard, I assume, and it comes to this very nice point, and it maintained that very, very nicely all throughout the game, even though it went on extremely, extremely long, and the game was pretty exciting.
Oh, that's great.
Did you allow him to take breaks to like oil up his beard because the game was so long?
No, he
No,
had to do
okay.
it all in one go. Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's where the quality of the oil you're using comes into play, I think, as well. If he oiled his beard before, then the good oil, and it depends on how you interact with your beard. Some people can't stop stroking their beards, like Buzz. That kind of takes the oil. And Buzz, I'm saying that because you have a really nice beard. If I was sitting next to you, I would probably stroke your beard as well.
No, yeah, I use like a can per day of oil because I stroke it out all the time. Yeah.
So that's where the discipline comes in, and the endurance, I think, of the player. So Chris Shanthal obviously knows that he has to keep his hand out of his beard a little bit during the tournament, so he can finish well.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And he was also playing Lannister Banner of the Dragon that day, and I do think that's one of the best decks this current meta. But I'm interested to see if it will be able to maintain up until Worlds. If it will make a showing at the top tables.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because it's gonna have to evolve. I think it's gonna have to probably take out some pretty important pieces at it as it is right now, because as you said before, we have this new pack that just come out, and it's got one of the best counters to it, which is the Craven attachment from Night's Watch, which absolutely destroys the real aggro and attacking decks, which is going to be really interesting to see. But yeah, I definitely agree. It's going to be interesting to see going into Worlds if that deck is going to have any seeing at the top tables.
Yeah.
I heard rumors from one of Chris's metamates in the SoCal meta that Chris is actually not a year-round beard grower, and he usually shaves off his beard at this time of the year.
Wow.
So yeah, he usually goes to the big tournaments, he saves up, grows the beard, and then just, I don't know if it's him or his wife or someone who grows tired of it, and then he just shaves it off. So we'll see what that's kind of, if that's going to happen between now and Worlds as well.
Yeah. I feel like that could only hurt his chances. I mean, Chris is a great player, but you don't want to shave your beard right before Worlds.
No.
That intimidation, you don't want to lose that.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's time for spoilers, I think.
Wow, spoilers!
Cards from the
So amazing.
Lanny box, I think. Yes, Lanny box. From Up on High, Evan. Who is it I'm talking about? Who is our new guy?
All right. Well, our new guy, we've got the High Septon here. Should I just read out the full card? And
Please do.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So the High Septon, 6 cost, intrigue and power icons, 5 strength. He has the 7, which I love. And he reads Interrupt. When an opponent chooses a character you control as the only target of a triggered ability, choose an eligible the 7 character you control to become the target of that triggered ability instead. Limit once per phase. He also has no beard whatsoever. So
Yeah.
Nope.
binder card.
Binder. Yeah. Okay. Next spoiler is. So the seven trait that works with the Septon, the Stark one, right? The Tully Septon. Reduce him.
Caitlyn Stark. Okay.
Oh, he's neutral, by the way. If that wasn't clear.
Yeah, I think it's an ability that I'm not sure that I want to put in the effort to make it work. How many the 7 characters would you have to run, to make this really worth it? Or otherwise, it's like might take one put to the sword for someone is fine, but then it's once per game, and you you just spend 6 gold on that.
Oh, but you can play close call, and you can use him twice per game.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you won few tournaments?
Nope.
And I mean, there are, obviously other targets other than the 7, especially in House Stark. But that I feel is another little part of the problem, just because House Stark is already so good at the canceling and the shutting down your opponent's events. I'm not sure that he really has a home there. That said, I really like the idea of this card. I love making the 7 an important trait. Just all of the religious traits, the 7, Drowned God, Relore, all of those. I'm a huge fan of those, and I'm glad that they're getting more popularity in 2nd edition. So, those are my thoughts. What do you guys think about the card?
I think it's a very interesting card. I mean, just looking at the effect, it actually works. It's not only a cancellation, but it can also work in a very Shagga deck where you use Catelyn Stark, and then let's say you use the Blackfish or just a random maybe house. What are they called? The Tumblestone Knights. Mm-hmm. And then you do Banner for the Rose, and you win a challenge, and you have this guy out. You have the newest Catelyn Stark, and you have the Tumblestone Knight. You play Lady Sansa's Rose, and then you cancel the effect, and you put power on Catelyn instead.
That doesn't work. I'm sorry. It's only when an opponent chooses your character as a target.
Oh, but you give the card to your opponent so that they can.
Oh, right. Sure. Yes. Yeah.
That's sad. I didn't even read the card.
Yeah, I was thinking this would be a great Chambers card, Joshua, and but no, only when no opponents.
Yeah, so it's a cancel card. I guess it could work if you cancellation. I mean, if you really need to, you can pack this card in. It's like a silver bullets protection thing. If you really need to build like a tower deck on, let's say, Robert Baratheon or something, you can include this to really prevent the bad things from happening. Yeah, I like it. It's not in every deck, but then he doesn't have a beard, so
that's true.
What do you expect?
And correct me if I'm wrong, but is when revealed effects on plots, is that considered triggered abilities in 2nd edition?
I think so.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it is.
I think so.
So yeah, so you could potentially do to avoid, like, if your opponents wants to, they're playing say filthy accusations, to kneel your Catelyn or whatever, you can kneel that House Septon or something.
Yeah,
if you
it's
playing that guy.
Yeah, it works like that because fear cuts deeper than. Fear cuts deeper. It's that works the same way. You can cancel plots.
Yep.
So if you have
that's
two
pretty
goals.
Cool. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
We move on. I think someone's microphone or something is making a bit of a.
Did you buzz?
Noise.
Probably.
Yeah.
What noise?
It's like
that
all the time.
Really?
Like if you're maybe, it's like vibrations. Maybe you're driving your.
No.
While we're talking. No.
No.
No way.
Would I ever? You will fix the noise things anyway in the post production. It's fine. And I have a noise gate for my video.
Yeah.
Okay. Next card. Next up is the Council Consents. It's an event. Evan?
All right. So this is the Council Consents. It is a neutral event, 1 cost. It is small council traded, and it says reaction. After a player wins an intrigue challenge by 5 or more strength, stand each small council character. And you'll notice that there are some important words missing at the end there, which are you control It's just stand each small council character, period.
I love that.
Do you know off the top of your head what small council characters we have?
I think
Baratheon?
every version of Eddard.
Mhm.
We've got Renly Baratheon. I know who this
Tell me, I think. Small council?
is. He? I mean, I know he is in the books. I don't know in the card game.
Yeah.
So you got
Pycelle?
Eddard Stark, like you said. You got Grand Maester Pycelle,
Is Varys?
Littlefinger,
Yep.
Yeah, Varys, Littlefinger.
Varys and
Renly.
Littlefinger.
Renly, Tywin, Stannis, and
I
Sir
don't-
Varys.
Does Tywin have small council trait?
Oh no, sorry, that's a new one.
Yeah.
That
Oh, the
would
new
be
one,
so
yeah.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be just stupid.
I would run that.
Who
just
play
for-
tested this card?
Okay.
All right. I have the definitive list checked. Yeah, it's both Eddards, Grandmaster Pycelle, Littlefinger, Renly. Sir Barristan does have the trait. Stannis Baratheon and Varys.
And more to come, probably. This does make the Eddard's Tower thing kind of work sometime in the future, maybe.
But you have to win an intrigue challenge by 5 or more.
No.
and-
You can lose
Yes.
it by 5 or more.
Oh,
Does it say?
After a
eight-
player
after a
wins.
play.
Oh,
Yes!
Stupidly.
Yes!
Oh, but Stark never loses intrigue challenges.
Do they? This
Yeah,
is crazy fun.
And if you play Stark Rose, you can boost the opponent's character, so it's 5 strength.
Oh, this is a fun card. I like that. And most of all, you see that beard?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Do I see a tint of blue?
Could
Yeah.
be the cold. Could be the cold morning light. He's been up early shaving, trimming his the edge. There's a very nice edge on his beard, his cheek.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's probably it. Up early. He's writing a
And
new
it's
recipe for
frosty.
a beard. Yeah, it's a beard oil. The recipe. Tried out some new products. Writing
Nice.
lists. Yeah. He's writing his recommendations for the tonic of the week for the rest of the council.
Sweet.
So
And by doing so, all of the small counseling characters stand up.
yeah, stand up. Proud of their magnificent. All of them.
And I love everything about this card. This
Yeah.
is, and also the fact that it doesn't go in every deck, but it's so powerful in the right deck.
Yes.
It's really good. It's really fun.
Small council rush in melee will be a thing, I promise.
I would play that deck.
Yeah. Great cards and some really fun cards spoiled here today. So awesome.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Evan, for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that, maybe we should go to the tonic of the week, maybe?
Oh yes, and when we do the tonic of the week, we do some fairly I wouldn't say typical products, but we usually focus on the oils and the waxes and things like that. This week we're doing something a bit different. We're taking what's being marketed as a hair product, but I found after some testing that it's works fantastic in the beard. So sold this. My wife came home with this from the hairdresser, and I had to try it out. It's called Surf Bomb from what the company is called, Original Mineral, and it's a spray. So it contains water and salt and a bunch of other stuff, and you basically spray it in your you could use it in your hair, but we're focusing on the beard here.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
It's a live demonstration.
Work it into your beard. It's not as greasy as an oil. It's not as stiff as a pomade. It's something in between. And it smells nice. It smells like if you bring this to the Worlds tournament, coming there with your winter beard and you want a touch of summer, this is the perfect product. And it's going to keep your winter beard in a perfect shape all day. So, Surf Bomb Sea Spray by Origin. This is the
Secret
tonic
tech.
of the week. It's
Nice.
very secret tech. super secret. Obviously, we're spoiling it now, so that's out of the bag. The beard's out of the bag.
The beard's out of the bag.
While we
that's
are
the
on
kind
the...
of
Yeah, go.
just the kind of experimentation that you want to do now. Instead of 15 minutes before Worlds.
Yeah,
definitely.
You got to figure that stuff out.
Or if you're tricky enough, you'll bring it. Just give it to someone else to try out 15 minutes before.
Speaking of both experimentation and Tonic of the Week, and Valor Mogul is coming up next week, I remember in one of our episodes that we promised to do glitter in our beards for Varberg. Just putting it out there. Yes.
We did.
Wow. Thanks for the reminder.
Yes, so you will have to have this ready for us when you come down to Varberg.
Yeah, and that is also in line with don't experiment with something just before a major tournament. So
but
we have a week.
You and me we're not playing, but Jacob,
not playing.
Jacob is.
Gonna find the right color, right? Golden.
Oh, go for the most sparkly.
The most vampirish.
Just a pro tip.
All right. So at Varberg we will also speak Swedish, and for our all of our foreign guests we need to teach them something for when they come, right?
Yep.
Captain Fawcett.
Yep. So for this one, we wanted to do a real Varberg theme. So this is a very local. This is a dialect word. It's not going to beat the one that Evan Sörjard brought on when he was a guest, the Norwegian. Do you guys remember it? Do you know it, Evan?
Yeah.
Not going to put you on the line here. I'm going to let Buzz do it.
This word?
Yeah.
No, this
No.
word.
The one that Evan Sörjard.
Evan's word. I don't remember it actually. It's the one in the dog in a leash, male dog in a leash, right? Yeah, I don't remember it.
Male dog on a leash on a very dialectal Norwegian.
Yeah. Jakob?
Yeah, it's Hein Hunibein.
Right.
Okay. So this is not as extreme as that, but it's close to it. This is very Varberg dialect. And the Swedish word of the week is Unbrau.
What the fuck?
Right.
Okay, I'm from Stockholm. I have no clue what this means.
Unbrau. That means
Unbrau.
what Jakob was
Unbrau.
saying?
Unbrau. Yeah, that's
awesome.
great. It's it means I can't even explain it. It's something that's just it's something that's really good.
Really, really good.
Astonishingly good.
Yeah.
And if you come on, Samuel, explain it. If you would separate the words, tell me what it means.
Un?
Hmm?
I have no idea what that. That's just
I think it's short for a farmer.
Kidding me?
Boom.
Don't ask me that. I just said it's a prefix that you put in a word to just sort of enhance it. It's like an attachment.
It's like one of the worst attachments.
There's a
yeah.
boon attachment.
Boon attachment.
Boom. Yeah.
Like a milk of the poppy that you would pay 10 gold for.
Yep. Like that. Okay. Yeah. So that's it.
So you want to learn more useless words? Come to Valor next week.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, and even if you don't want to learn useless words, you should come for the tournaments, and especially for the Melee tournament on Sunday, which is actually hosted and sponsored by your favorite podcast, Great Bears of Westeros. And we have some. We've spoiled the alternate art cards that we're providing for all the participants, and we haven't spoiled yet, but will in the coming days. Spoil the playmat that the top 4 final table can receive. And it's glorious.
Glorious beards.
We will also have the drawing for the competition we've had during the summer, right? So
Yes.
This is your last chance to send in your great beards.
Yeah. So take a photo of your beard, send it in through our Facebook page, or I don't know if we have any other way to contact us. I think it's the Facebook page. Yeah. So send in your photos and get a chance to win some beautiful house cards and maybe a tonic and maybe something else cool.
Maybe a playmat.
Yep. Ooh.
Yeah. Not
Playmat.
making any promises. Just raising the expectations.
That's the stakes.
All
Raise the
right.
Yep.
stakes.
Samuel, what should we not forget until next time?
Oh, never forget. I hope you all learned this. We all can use a reminder now and then. Don't forget to wax your tips and tip your waitresses.